Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. But before I get started, I wanted to let you know that I have a channel in two different languages, Hindi and Spanish. Please go check it out and please show some support to those channels. Both Spanish and Hindi are featured here on my channel. So please check it out and subscribe. I shout out to Aloud for making this happen, and thank you guys so much for your love and support. I do appreciate you all. Now let's get started. Okay, now let's get to work. So I have 10mm round bead over here. Okay, all these colors are in 10mm. This is how it's looking like, and these colors are all opaque colors. Okay, so now this is my fishing line or monofilament. Okay, and now I'm going to start with 6 bead. I'm going to string all these 6 bead on the line. So you can feel free to use one color, okay? You don't have to buy all these colors. If you like one color, you can buy. So I string 6 bead on my line, okay? Now I'm going to hold the last one. Then I'm going to cross my right line into it like this and pull down. Now on my left line, this is my left line, okay? I add 5 bead to my left line. I'm going to hold the last one and cross my right line into it and pull. And this is how it's looking like. Now my right line into the next bead. Put the right line into the next bead like this. Now this is how it's looking like. We have 2 rings done, okay? My left line, I add 4 bead to my left line. I'm going to hold the last one and cross with the right line and pull down. My right line into the next bead. Put the right line to the next bead and pull. Now my left line again. This is my left line, okay? I add 4 bead to my left line. Hold the last one and crisscross with the right line and pull. My right line again into the next bead. Pull through the next bead like this. Now my left line again. This is my left line. I add 4 bead to my left line. Hold the last one, cross with the right line and pull. Right line again into the next bead. Pull through the next bead. This line, add 4 bead to the left line. Cross with the right line and pull. Now my line into 2 bead, okay? I pull through the first one over here, and this is the second bead I'm going to pull through, okay? I'm going to pull through the second bead. Now my left line again, I add 3 bead to my left line. Hold the last one, cross with the right line and pull. Now we are done with the first step, and this is something that you should have, okay? If you complete this step. This is the shape and this is how it's looking like. Let's continue. My right line into the next bead. Pull through the next bead. And on my left line, I add 4 bead to my left line. Hold the last bead and cross with the right line and pull. Now my right line again into the next bead, okay? I'm pulling through 1 bead over here. This is 1 bead, okay? Not 2 bead. Pull through 1 bead. And on my left line, I add 3 bead to my left line. Hold the last one and cross the right line into it and pull. My right line into 2 bead. Now pull through 2 bead. On my left line, I add 3 bead to my left line. Hold the last one, cross with the right line and pull. Now my right line again into the next bead. pull through 1 bead, okay? The left line, add 3 beads to the left line. I cross with the right line and pull. Now my right line again into the next 2 beads, okay? Pull through 2 beads. Is the second one. Now my left line, I add 3 beads to my left line. I hold the last one and cross my right line into it and pull down. My right line into the next bead. Add 3 beads to the left line. Hold the last bead, cross with the right line and pull. My right line again into the next 2 beads. Pull through 2 beads. Now my left line, I add 3 beads to my left line. Hold the last bead and cross with the right line and pull. Now my right line into the next bead. Pull through the next bead. Add 3 beads to the left line, cross and pull. I'm going to pull my right line again into the next 2 beads. Pull through 2 beads. On the left line, I add 3 beads to the left line, cross and pull. My right line again into the next bead. Pull through the next bead. Add 3 beads to the left line, cross with the right line and pull. Next 2 beads. Pull the line through the next 2 beads. And on the left line, I add 3 beads to my left line, cross and pull down. So now this is how it's looking like. I'm going to pull through 2 beads again. Pull through 2 beads. And over here, this is how it's looking like. This is the shape. It's a very rounded shape. And now my line is in 3 beads, okay? Line is in 3 beads. On my left line, I add 2 beads to my left line like this, cross with the last one and pull. Okay, this step, if you complete this step, this is the shape you should have. This is a round, very beautiful shape. Now let's continue. On my left line, I add 3 beads to my left line. Okay, now I hold the last one, cross my right line into it and pull. I'm going to pull through the next bead again. This is how it's looking like, into the next bead. Pull the right line into the next bead. Now on my left line, I add 2 beads to my left line like this. Hold the last one and cross the right line into it and pull down. This is how it's looking like. Into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line. I cross with my right line and pull. I'm going to pull my right line again through the next bead. Okay. Now I add 2 beads to my left line. I cross with my right line and pull. Into the next bead. Pull through the next bead, okay? And now I add 2 beads again to my left line, cross with the right line and pull. So now that my line is short, I'm going to weave it back into the bead and then start with a new line. Okay, I'm just weaving the rest of this line into the bead. Make sure I secure it before I continue. So I'm pulling new thread into the bead. Where I stop, that is where we are going to continue from. All right, I'm adding 2 beads to my left line. I cross with the last bead and pull down. My right line again into the next bead. Go through the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line. I cross with the right line and pull. Now my right line again into the next bead. And on my left line, I add 2 beads to my left line. I cross with the right line and pull. Okay, so this step, this is what we are going to repeat around this shape until we complete. So this is mine and I'm about to complete mine. I'm pulling my right line into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line. I'm pulling my right line again to the next bead. And on my left line, I add 2 beads. Like this, okay? Cross and pull into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull. Now I'm going to pull through 2 beads, okay? This one and this one. I pull through 2 beads. Through 2 beads. And this is how it's looking like, okay? My line now is in 3 beads. This is how the shape is looking like. And we are going to complete this step with 1 bead. I cross and pull down. This is how the shape is looking like, very rounded shape. And now we are going to build on this round and make it high, okay? This is how the shape is looking like. We are going to build on it, round. Build on this one, on the edge, round up, okay? I'm going to build round up. Now, my line is in 1 bead. I add 3 beads to my right line, okay? I cross with my left line and pull. Now into the next bead. I'm pulling my right line into the next bead. Then I add 2 beads again to my left line. I cross and pull. Okay, we are building on this one, all right? I'm going to pull into the next bead. Then I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull down. Now my right line again into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull. Now my right into the next bead. Pull the line through the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull down. This is how the weave is looking like, very simple, very clear and beautiful. We are going to go round this shape, round, until we complete, okay? So on this stage, we are going to leave, I'm going to leave 3 beads in between, okay? I'll show you how it looks like. I'm going to pull through my last bead over here. This is the last bead. And on the same, you see 1, 2, 3, we are going to leave these 3 beads in between, okay? In between, we leave 3 beads. Now, my right line, I add 2 beads to my right line, okay? So now, I can turn my line and continue my weaving. I add 2 beads to my right line and cross and pull, and this is how it's looking. Now we are going to continue. So leave 3 in between and continue on the side, all right? Now I add 3 beads to my right line again. I cross with my left line and pull. Now my right line into the next bead. Put the right line into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line. Cross and pull. Right line into the next bead. I'm going backwards this time. I'm going just around to build on this weave. Now I add 2 beads to my left line. Cross with the right line and pull down. Again, I'm going to pull my right line into the next bead. Alright, this is what we'll be repeating. Go through 1 bead and add 2 beads to the other line. Now this is how it's looking like. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross with the right line and pull into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross with the right line and pull. So this is what we will be weaving, repeating the same thing around the shape, and this is how it's looking like. So continue to weave yours, and this is how it's looking like. All right, this is how it's looking like. Very pretty, very beautiful. And now I'm going to start another row again. I'm going to build on it again with this purple bead. All right, I'm going to put purple bead on top, and I'll be putting layers on the colors. So I'm starting with 3 purple bead. I cross with my right line and pull. My right line again into the next bead. Then I add 2 purple to my left line, cross with the right line and pull like this. Into the next bead, I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull. So this is how it's looking like. I'm going to continue off camera and weave the rest around this shape, and this is how it's looking like. I laid the purple on it and it's looking pretty and beautiful already. Okay, now I'm going to start another layer again. I'm going to use pink. Okay, I have this baby pink, and I'm starting with 3 beads, and I'm adding all these 3 beads to my right line like this. I cross with my left line and pull. Okay, now my right line into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross, pull down. I'm going to pull again into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull. This is so I'm going to repeat until I complete. And now put blue. Okay, I'll put baby blue. If I complete with the pink, then I'm going to add baby blue. But if you don't want, you have one color, just continue to weave like this. Okay, this is how I add the layers of colors. Okay, now I put purple, pink, blue, pink and white. Okay, I add pink to the top and white. It looks very, very beautiful. That is how I build it. And now I did the second one. So if we complete one, we have to do the second one too. You have to do the same thing, the same shape, and we'll put it like this together and join both pieces together. Very simple and easy. Okay, I always bring you something that can be easy for you so you can make it yourself. Now let's join these 2 pieces together. My line is in this bead. All right, my line is in this edge bead over here. Okay, this is where my line is, in 1 bead. All right, this is my line. I'm going to add 1 bead to my line, and the same line I'm going to hold the other piece and pull through this bead, the same bead on the opposite side. All right, pull through it and pull. I'm going to take 1 bead, and crisscross both ends of the line into it, the right and the left line, crisscross and pull like this. Now my right line into the next, my left into the next bead. Putting my right line into the next bead, my left line into the next bead. This is my left line into the next bead. Now I take one bead, crisscross both ends of my line into it, and pull. My right line again into the next bead, left into the next bead. Now I take one bead, crisscross both ends of my line into it, pull. Again into the next bead. All right, put the right line into the next bead and the left into the next bead. Then I take one bead and cross both ends of my line and pull. This is how it's looking like. We are going to continue into the next bead, into the next bead on the opposite side. All right, then take one bead and cross both ends of the line into it and pull. Now this is what we'll be repeating round until we complete this side. All right, and this is how it's looking like. Very beautiful, very rounded, and I love the combination of the colors too. Okay, we're now going to put the handle on it. All right, now look at the inside. The inside is big. Okay, this is a big bag. All right, now this is my new line. I'm going to pull through 1, 2, 3. The 3 bead we left over here, I'm going to pull through all these 3 beads. Putting my line through all these 3 beads. All right. This is how it's looking like. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we are going to fold it this way. All right. Fold it inward. Now I take one bead, cross both ends of my line into it, and pull like this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to weave round again to reinforce. Okay, I'm going to weave in all these 4 beads. Okay, I'm going to pull my line through all these 4 beads to reinforce it. All right, now I'm going to pull through this bead, the last bead over here. Okay, I just go around the bead, pull my line through it to reinforce it, to make it strong. This is how it's looking like. Okay, this is how it's looking like. Very beautiful. Now we are going to build on this 4 using a cubic right angle weave to make the handle. All right, now I'm going to start on this 4 bead. All right, this 4 bead we are going to build on. Now my left line, I add 3 beads to my left line, my right line. Okay, cross with the right line and pull. This is a cubic right angle weave method that I'm using. Now my right line again into the next bead, pull through the next bead. Remember we are working with the 4 bead. All right, so I'm pulling through one by one. Now I add 2 beads to my left line, I cross with my right line and pull. I'm going to pull through the next bead, my right line into the next bead, pull through the next bead. This is the 3rd bead that I'm pulling through. Okay, I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull. I'm pulling through the next bead, this one and the one on the side. I'm pulling through 2 beads over here. Okay, pull through 1, and this is the 2nd one over here. I take 1 bead, crisscross both ends of my line into it, pull down. Now the top, we have 4 again to build on. Okay, these 4 we have on the top, we are going to build on this 4. So my right line, I add 3 beads to my right line, cross and pull down. Into the next bead, I pull my right line into the next bead, add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull. This is very simple to do, it's not hard at all. I'm going to pull into the next bead. Go through the next bead, add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull down. I'm going to pull my right line again into this bead and this one. Pull through the next bead and this one. I take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Let's repeat this one more time. Now my left line again, I add 3 beads to my left line. I'm going to pull my right line again into the next bead. Alright, I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull down. Now again into the next bead, my right line into the next bead. Pull the right line to the next bead, add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull down. I'm going to pull again my line into this bead and this one. Okay, 1, 2. Now I take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line and pull. And this is how it's looking like. Okay, very simple weave, not hard at all, very beautiful, that you can build on it to make the handle. All right, it's very easy to make, anybody can make it. So my right line again into the next bead, I add 2 beads to my left line, cross my right line into it and pull. Again into the next bead, add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull down. Now into the middle and the one on the side, the one over here on the side. Now we take 1 bead, cross both ends of the line into it and pull. And this is how it's looking like. So now I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side. Okay, I'm going to pull my line through the 3 bead. Pull through 3 bead. And now I'm going to take 1 bead. My line is in 3 bead. Okay, I take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull down like this and pull. So now I'm going to go around this bead to reinforce. I'm just pulling my line through all these 4 beads. Okay, pull it through to reinforce the line and make it strong like this. And this is how it's looking like, very strong base that we can build on it. All right, so I'm adding 3 beads to my left line. I cross with my right line, pull down. I'm pulling through the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull down into the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross with my right line and pull. Now I'm going to 2 bead, okay, the one in the middle and on the side, the same thing we did over there on the other side, we are repeating over here on this side. I pull through the one on the side and I take 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull down. Okay, now I'm repeating the same thing again. Add 3 beads to the left line, cross and pull. Now again into the next bead, pull the line through the next bead. Remember, we are working on the top 4, okay? So I add 2 beads to my left line. Now I'm going to pull my right line again into the next bead. Go through the next bead, this one, okay? Remember, we are working with the top 4 bead. So I add 2 beads to my left line, cross and pull down. This I pull through this middle bead and come up 1 bead. Take 1 bead and cross both ends of the line and pull. How beautiful the handle looks. I did this off camera, and this is long enough to make the handle. All right, this is long enough. I'm going to join both pieces together to the end to end. We're going to align it like this. All right, so we can join the 2 pieces together. My line is in this bead. I'm going to add 1 bead to my line. Okay, so in this bead we are going to make sure it's aligned with this side, okay, like this. So this is my right line. I'm adding 1 bead to my right line like this, okay, 1 bead on it. I'm going to hold this piece and go through the same bead on the other piece. Hold it like this, pull through. Now I take 1 bead, cross and pull. Again, I'm going to pull through the next bead. All right, this is how it's looking like, the next bead, this one into the next bead. So I pull through this, just hold both pieces together and then join them. Okay, now I take 1 bead, it's like this. Okay, I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this bead and pull. This is how it's looking like. I'm going to pull through this bead, my left line, into the next bead. Go through the next, into the next bead. So now I'll take 1 bead like this, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. Now pull and pull the lines together. Okay, now we are going to pull the line into the next bead. Okay, this I'm going to pull my right line into it, and the opposite side I'm going to hold my left line into this bead over here. Now this is where our line is. We are going to lock it in this bead. I'm going to crisscross it in that bead and lock it over there. So now I'm tying over here. I'm tying in between these 2 beads over here. Then I'm going to weave the rest of the line into the bead before I trim it off. So over here I'm just tying. It tied nice and neat and beautiful. All right, and this is how it's looking like so far. Very beautiful bag. So mold the bag, the handle, very well so it can give it a shape. All right, this is beautiful, beautiful color, bold colors. So here I'm just weaving the rest of the line into the handle to secure it in it before I trim it off. And this is how it's looking like. Very simple, beautiful. We are going to make a flap, and I'm going to show you how we are going to make it. Look at how beautiful it looks like. Very, very beautiful. So now we are going to take this middle 5. 1, okay, count 3 on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to work on this 5. So to make the flap, I start with 3 beads. I cross with my right line and pull. I pull my right line again into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull. Now my right line into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross and pull. Into the next bead, I add 2 beads to my left line. I cross with my right line and pull. Now again, I'm going to pull my right line into the next bead. Go through the next bead. And the same line, okay, I add 2 beads to it. I cross with my left line and pull. That way my line turn on the side, so I start a new row. So the same line again, I add 3 beads to it to start. And I'm going to pull my right line again into the next bead. Add 2 beads to the left line, cross with the right line, and pull. Alright, I'm going to pull through the next bead. I add 2 beads to my left line, cross, and pull down. Into the next bead, 2 beads, cross, and pull. Into the next bead. The same line, I pull through the bead. I add 2 beads to it, cross, and pull. Now again, I'm starting with 3 beads. Starting a new row with 3 beads. Into the next bead, I'm putting my right line into the next bead. Then I add 2 beads to my left line, into the next bead, 2 beads to the left line, cross with the right line, and pull. Into the next bead, 2 beads. So now we are going to continue and make 6 rows, okay? I made 4 and we are going to add 2 more to it. I'm going to add 2 more to it off camera, and this is how it's looking like. Very pretty, very beautiful. Thank you for watching, and I thank you for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe to my other channels and subscribe to this one too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.